think? You think I look okay? WTVA's meteorologist John Dolusic joins us for another segment of Ask John. From rainbows to tornadoes, you can satisfy your curiosity about the weather with insights directly from John. So today's question is from Gregory White of Aberdeen. Did Mississippi have any effects from the 1930s Dust Bowl? And John, that was really an interesting question.
Indeed. Indeed, very much. Well, the Dust Bowl was an era here in the United States that affected more of the central plains, southern plains, and actually at times northern plains. That was a very dry time period from the 1930 to about the late 30s to around 1940. That caused the soil to be very much loose, and when the storms came by, you would have major dust storms that would just make the sky look horrible. And one of the major storms they had was back in 1935 in April. It was called Black Sunday. That was one of the major ones, and this is just basically a rundown on how that broke up into a region of big-time wind, and big-time wind, how it basically picked up a lot of soil and made things horrible for the central plains. Now, some of that did reach into our area of Mississippi and Alabama. Here's just one of the pictures of the stuff that would happen in the plains. And now that is just wicked stuff. Now picture that happening almost every summer or every spring because of the topsoil just being loose. How did that affect Mississippi? Well, first of all, Mississippi did get some record temperatures, record high temperatures, many in the 1930s that were still to this day being held across Mississippi and western sections of Alabama for record highs. And there were economic impacts. A lot of folks couldn't, with all the dust, all the dryness, and there was still a lot of dry, but there was at times moist years, but at times dry years in Mississippi compared to the dry in the plains. We were still on the eastern fringes of that. There were economic things like the land was just destroyed, or you couldn't grow much because of the lack of any kind of moisture at times, and that led to folks going. Well, actually, that was another. That's. I think my map went on to something else. There's another wind. It's a tornado wind. Don't mind that in the background. But let me just explain that we saw wind and erosion, soil erosion. That led to people to leave Tanya to go up to live in the northern plains and the northern portion of the United States, the central plains. That's why a lot of people went up and worked in factories up north, because they found more jobs up there. A lot of folks did farming down here, and it was just a horrible time for farming in the 1930s and 40s. So that's why a lot of people went north.
All right, thanks, John. A dog lost